Once you understand being liked for what it is, I promise you, you'll never struggle with it again. Let's be real, most of us have been there, sitting in a room full of people, and no matter what you do, you just can't seem to connect. I know this because I've been there. But you know what's funny? We all want to be liked. It's human nature. But here's the thing. Most of us are going about it all wrong. We think it's about being the funniest person in the room, the most interesting, or the one with the best story. But let me tell you something. Those things don't matter. Not really. Here is an unpopular take. Being liked is not about what you say. It's about how you make the other person feel human. You don't need a cheat code, a script, etc. You only need to learn these two things. Mastering these is better than reading 10 books on psychology or small talk. And don't worry, I'll break them down. Here's the thing, people don't want to be impressed. They don't want to be dazzled by your wit or your charm. What they really want is to feel seen. Not in a deep philosophical way, but in a simple, hey, I noticed you exist kind of way. And that's where active observation comes in. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like something a nerd would say, and you're not wrong, but hear me out. Active observation is about paying attention to the person in front of you like they're the only thing that exists in that moment. Not their vibe, not their aura, just the actual tangible details, like their shirt, their watch, the way they keep glancing at the clock like they'd rather be anywhere else. You notice these things and then you comment on them, not in a creepy cringe way, but in a way that invites, not demands, a response. Let me show you how it works. First, people love to feel seen. It's a basic psychology. We humans are hardwired to crave acknowledgement. When you notice something about someone and mention it, you're giving them that little hit of dopamine that says, hey, I matter. Second, it's disarming. When you make an observation, you're not putting pressure on them to perform. You're not hitting them with, so what do you do? Or where do you see yourself in 3 years? You're just tossing a ball in their direction and seeing if they want to throw it back. Instead, you say, that book looks like it's been through some things. Is it a good read or are you just finishing it out of spite? And boom, you just made an observation and you've done it in a way that's neutral but interesting. Maybe they will laugh and say, yeah, that's my third reread, or maybe they will say, oh, it's terrible, I just want to finish it out of spite. Either way, you started a conversation without making it seem like an interview. Or let's say you're at a party, which if you're an introvert is probably your worst nightmare. Someone walks by with a drink questionable. Instead of ignoring them or hiding in the corner, you say, that drink looks interesting. Is it as good as it looks? Maybe they will say something like, it's really good, you want to try it out, or they might criticize it. Either way, you opened the door and made an observation. The beauty of active observation is that it works everywhere. Work meetings, first dates, family gatherings, you name it. It's flexible, it's simple, and best of all, it takes the focus off you. You don't have to be charming, you just have to notice stuff and point it out, simple as that. Now that you know what active observation is all about, noticing the little things, patterns, details, and commenting on them in a neutral but interesting way. And the other one is charisma. Charisma is not something you're born with or without. It's a skill, a combination of presence, warmth, and power. And if you master these three elements of charisma, people won't just like you, they'll be addicted to you. But here's the thing you'll need to remember. You can't just focus on one element, you need all three, working them together in perfect harmony. If one element is missing, the whole thing falls apart. So let me break it down for you. Let's start with the first element, which is presence. And no, this doesn't mean being the loudest person in the room or showing off how amazing you are. It's the opposite. In 1886, two people ran for election in the UK when a journalist was asked about her opinion of the candidates. And she said, the first person makes me feel like he's the strongest person in UK, and the second person makes me feel like I'm the strongest person in the UK. In the end, the person who won was the second one. You don't need to show your strength to have charisma. Instead, you make the other person feel like they are strong. And how would you do that? By being a good listener. When someone's talking to you, don't think about what you're going to say next. Just listen and care about what they're saying. That's it. It's not important what will happen after they finish talking, because if you listen, the response will come naturally. The second element is warmth. Warmth isn't about being overly nice or fake. It's about genuine kindness and empathy. Here's the thing most people miss. Us humans don't just communicate through words alone. Only 7% of communication is verbal, and the other 93% is body language, tone, and energy. If you're talking to someone but secretly thinking, I don't like this person, they'll feel it, and they won't like you either. So how do you show warmth? Start by assuming the best in people. When you meet someone new, focus on their good qualities. Feel genuine admiration for them. That energy will radiate from you, and they'll feel it. And here's one more thing, give them value. Here's an example. If someone mentions they're looking for a house to rent, and you know a good website, tell them. Just offer the information and let them decide what to do with it. Giving without expecting anything in return is the best example of an act of warmth. But here's the issue. Presence and warmth are great, but without power, you're just a people pleaser. Let that sink in. And people pleasers, they get walked on. And no, this doesn't mean being dominant or controlling. It's about having strength, confidence, and boundaries. So, how do you build up that power? It's simple. Set boundaries. Say no when you need to. If someone crosses a line, call them out. Boundaries aren't rude. They're a form of self-respect. Without power, you'll come off as weak or needy, and that often invites disrespect. When you combine these three elements, you become magnetic. People won't just like you. They'll respect you, admire you, and want to be around you. Here's the thing, small talk doesn't have to be shallow, or it doesn't have to be this awkward thing you need to suffer through to get to the real conversation. When you practice active observation, small talk becomes a game, a fun game. You start to enjoy noticing things and seeing how people react. You stop worrying about what to say because you realize it doesn't really matter. What matters is showing up, paying attention, and making people feel seen. And here's the best part, the more you do this, the more people will like you. Not because you're the funniest or the most interesting, but because you make them feel good about themselves. And here's something important to remember. People aren't as judgmental as you might think. The idea that others will find you weird, it's way less true than most people realize. Most people are just like you. They know what it feels like to talk to someone you don't know. If you open the conversational door, most people won't slam it on you. At worst, they'll politely close it on you and chuckle at your comment or give a short reply. But that's not a bad thing at all. And many of them will keep the door open and even let you take a step inside their thought and share a genuine conversation. Think about it this way, if someone starts talking to you, are you gonna think they're crazy and have some huge overreaction? No, you probably wouldn't. And if they give you something easy to work with, would you be willing to talk back to them? Probably yes, you just have to replicate that for others. And here's the thing, the more you step into these moments, the more you realize that you're capable of adapting, socializing, improving, growing. It's all about taking these small steps. And guess what? You've got this. Because you're smart, you're strong, you're adaptable, and most of all, you're a cutie pie. The next time you're in a social situation, whether it's a coffee shop, a party, or a work meeting, try active observation. Notice something and comment on it, and see what happens. Worst case, they don't respond and you move on with your life. Best case, you've just made a connection. This was my first video on this channel, and I would really appreciate you if you like and subscribe and leave your thought in the comments.